former head of the Internal Affairs Unit of the National Police Service says he's ready for the huge task ahead.
I will always be available, and for purposes of records, I would like to declare Honorable CJ my number, which is 0722 415 419.
As he shares his private contact with the public. 3 little-known CS nominees face the National Assembly's Committee on Appointments.
This is an area that I would want to look at and see what policies we can generate, at least to see these people benefit. Even if it's employment in the parks,
then the issues of professional management will be well handled as well in that state department.
The 3 outlining their plan as they prepare to be judged by the public if confirmed. Also tonight, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's future not so bright after members of the County Assembly challenge her leadership style.
Watu wanataka kuingia mbunge, two strangers in the house. Sasa maneno yangu mimi tafuata sheria. Kama anaelewa sheria afuate sheria.
A very good evening to you and welcome to another edition of TV47 News Tonight. We have a lot in store for you over the next 1 hour or so. Welcome aboard. My name is Kenneth Kazungu. Catherine Simaloy will be handling the sign language interpretation. The new DCI boss, that is the director, Mohammed Amin, was sworn into office early Wednesday in a ceremony presided over by Chief Justice Martha Koome at the Supreme Court in Nairobi. The former head of the Internal Affairs Unit of the National Police Service says he is ready for the task and promised to carry out his mandate without prejudice.
Or by reason of any office or employment held by me pursuant to the National Police Service Act. So help me God.
After his swearing in as the new DCI director, Mohammed Amin, in his short inaugural speech, did not shy away from disclosing his contacts to the public, saying he will remain available for Kenyans in his line of duty.
I will always be available, and for purposes of records, I would like to declare Honorable CJ my number, which is 0722 415 419, so that any member of the public, any other person who feels like reaching out to me can easily reach out to me.
The former head of Internal Affairs Unit of the National Police Service said he was ready for the task and promised to carry out responsibilities professionally with utmost integrity and respect.
We shall also endeavor to respect human rights while being firm and fair as we stick to the mandate given to the Directorate. I want to urge all Kenyans and foreigners living within our borders to obey the Kenyan laws, and we should not have any reason whatsoever to come for you.
Amin was appointed the new Director of Criminal Investigation by President William Ruto 3 days ago, following the resignation of former DCI boss George Kinoti, overcoming a stiff competition from 9 other candidates who were shortlisted from a total of 160 interested individuals.
I want to inform the public that there is new sheriff in town and their cases will be heard without any prejudice, and Kenyans will see the fruits of the new transformation within the National Police Service, and Amin is coming with 33 years of experience.
He pledged to work with all strategic partners to ensure they deliver on the mandate of the Directorate.
We shall try as much as possible to work together in harmony, in the spirit of collaboration with other security agencies, such as the EAC, KPS, APS, the NIS, and other actors of the criminal justice system, including the ODPP, the judiciary, and the correctional services, amongst others.
On her part, Koome urged the new DCI to respect the rule of law, expressing her confidence in Mohammed's experience at the agency.
I have confidence that you will perform your duties in accordance with the law and fairness, as the Constitution that is our true north venerates the cardinal value and the principle of justice.
Meanwhile, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Noor Gabo, has effected changes at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations with immediate effect. Mr. John Gashomo has been deployed as the new Director of Internal Affairs Unit, while Mr. Nicholas Ireri Kamwende has been appointed as the Deputy Director DCI. In other changes, Mr. Eliud Kipkoech Lagat is the new Director of Investigations Bureau. Mr. Johnston Kola will now be the new Director of Anti-Terror Police Unit ATPU. And Mr. Martin Otieno Mumbo has been deployed to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Mr. Paul Mumo has been deployed to the Kenya Police Headquarters, Vigilance House, Nairobi. The changes are in line with ongoing police reforms and are aimed at streamlining services, enhancing effectiveness, efficiency and professionalism in service delivery by the National Police Service. The new team consists of experienced officers who are expected to boost Amin's efforts to address crime in general. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, a family in Nakuru is in distress following the mysterious disappearance of their relatives allegedly abducted by police officers more than 6 months ago. Alfred Omboto and Vincent Motari are said to have been bungled into a vehicle at Kuindu area by men believed to be police officers, never to be seen or heard from again. Chicha Josephine with more details on that story.
35-year-old Alfred Omboto and 26-year-old Vincent Motari disappeared on March 10th after two men, who the family alleges to be policemen, stormed their home in Pemwi's Estate Lanet area and bungled them into a white car that was parked at the gate. According to their sister Rose Mura, they received a phone call that after the abduction, the two could not be traced.
Tulipokuja mahali pale tukakuta bibi yake, akatuambia ilikuwa mwendo wa saa 4:30, walikuwa wameekelea chakula chao jikoni, watu wakapisha, walikuwa wawili, lakini mmoja alipopisha hii kitambaa ya mlango alikuwa ameweka, kawaita akawaambia toka nje niwaongereshe. Huyo bladhangu mmoja akatoka, alipotoka alafu akauliza huyu mwingine kwani atoki, akamwambia huyu mwingine ni mgeni, wacha watoke wote.
They later reported the matter at Lanet Police Station before heading to Bahati Police Station, where they identified one of the officers believed to have been part of the scheme.
Sasa huyu bibi yake alipotuelezea, alituambia mimi niliona kama mmoja ni askari na ni askari wa Bahati. Kwenda baka Bahati Police Station, tukafika hapo tukaripoti. Saa tukiwa na yeye, huyo bibi ya bladhangu alisema hapana na ni huyu ndiye alikuwa. Huyo mmoja mwenye alikuwa askari. Saa kwenda kumuongeresha hataki kutusikiliza, anatuambia endeni na pale hivi muongee.
Nimeenda baka kwa mkubwa wa CID region mwenyewe na sijawahi saidika. Hata mimi venye niko hivi saa hii, maisha yangu iko hatarini juu hata mimi kuna vitisho naendelea kupata saa hii.
As human rights defenders in Nakuru collectively laud President William Ruto over the disbandment of the dreaded Special Service Unit of the DCI, they want judicial and parliamentary commissions of inquiry to be established to investigate such matters.
Members of the SSU must be investigated and prosecuted for their individual and command roles in extortion, abduction, kidnapping, torture, extrajudicial execution, and forced disappearance.
We need to see more of prosecution, and now that the president has admitted to the fact that yes, the police have been killing people, innocent blood in this country, then the president should also be in a position to identify these killer police, because he said they are there.
They further want the government to issue a public apology to all the families of victims of enforced disappearances and to the nation for the lives lost by the lawlessness of officers from the special units.
Polisi amekula kiapo kuyalinda maisha ya Mkenya, kulinda mali ya Mkenya, na wala sio kupeleka Wakenya kwenye kaburi.
Chichi Josephine, TV 47.
All right, tonight, President William Ruto's cabinet nominees have signaled major changes in their dockets if they take office during the ongoing vetting. Transport and Infrastructure Cabinet Secretary nominee Kipchumba Murkomen has promised to make public the controversial 327 billion shillings standard gauge railway contract Kenya signed with China. a promise President Uhuru Kenyatta failed despite pledging to do so. This has Health Cabinet Secretary nominee Susan Nakhumicha vowed to eliminate cartels at Afya House. Apollo Kamau with more details on the day's vetting.
The ongoing cabinet vetting by the Committee on Appointments entered day 3 with President William Ruto's campaign pledges and as outlined in the Kenya Kwanza manifesto coming to the fore. Cabinet Secretaries Kipchumba Murkomen, Susan Nakhumicha and Soipan Tuya making a case for the new policy shift from the previous President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration. Transport and Infrastructure CS nominee Kipchumba Murkomen pledging to make public the controversial 320 billion shillings standard gauge railway contract, which President Uhuru Kenyatta promised to disclose but failed. Murkomen further revealed that Kenya will be renegotiating its loan repayment terms with China.
Now, this agreement has become opaque. It's akin to the other agreement we have had in the political circles, where party leaders are told, you just signed the dotted line, don't worry about the contents up here. That is why, Honorable Mishi, you are speculating that maybe the port has been used as a guarantee. Maybe it has not been used as a guarantee. So my first responsibility when I get to office is to find where the agreement is and give it to the people of Kenya through Parliament. Why are we hiding? If the port has been used as a guarantee, we live knowing that as we manage the port and manage the SGR, we know what is our exposure.
Murkomen, if approved, will be taking over a powerful ministry with an expansive docket whose pending bills stand at 140 billion shillings, which he promised to address while dealing with cowboy contractors. Murkomen also has ambitious plans to introduce a camera-backed e-police system to deal with traffic offences and reduce congestion in the highways. Also on Murkomen crosshairs is the loss-making Kenya Airways, streamlining the road sector and the viability of the Lamu Port South Sudan Ethiopian Transport Corridor, also known as LAPSET, and the Mombasa Port, which is facing managerial issues.
This administration is inheriting nearly 140 billion shillings in the infrastructure sector, particularly the roads. Mr. Speaker, the reason why the roads have stalled is because we are unable to pay the contractors. And Mr. Speaker, the money to
Of course, we apologize for that small technical hitch. But moving on, the bad relationship between the 69 members of the Meru County Assembly, or MCAs, and their governor, that is Kawira Mwangaza, has become worse. This follows a scuffle that saw police officers use tear gas to disperse Kawira supporters and the MCAs. And as Stanley Nyaringita now tells us, the county boss has accused the MCAs of allegedly asking for bribes so that they can vet her county executive committee members.
It was meant to be a seamless inaugural opening of the 3rd County Assembly of Meru, presided over by Governor Kawira Mwangaza. But it turned out to be a muddy affair after the members of the County Assembly Wednesday made the threats true of not allowing the county boss to address them.
Sasa kama amekuja akaingia mbunge na watu wake wanataka kuingia mbunge, tusa strangers in the house. Sasa maneno yangu mimi tafuata sheria.
The dramatic situation further escalated, forcing the police to use tear gas to disperse a crowd that was outside the county assembly offices after a scuffle ensued between Kawira's supporters and the MCAs.
Kwa mujibu haya ambao tunazungumza leo, nikilinganisha huu muktadha, maana hamna mtu ambaye amefurahishwa hapa. Gavana anjirejelee katika tamaluni zake, anjichunguze vyema, aulize vipi atafanya kazi, ashirikiana nao waheshimiwa ili gatuzi la Meru liweze kuwa kipaumbele katika nchi mzima.
Deputy Governor anaongea rudi sana kwa MCAs. Akipigiwa simu anaongelesha MCAs ni kama hawakupigiwa kura. Mwenye MCAs yeyote mwenye ako hapa na speaker wetu, tulichagua speaker, MCAs wamechaguliwa na mwananchi. Na vile gavana wetu pia anapigania kurudi 2027. Pia hawa MCAs wako na future na 2027. Saa hii MCA hata akipigiwa simu na electorate, atumwa kwa gavana, anatumwa aende wapi na gavana mwenyewe, hata simu ashiki, hata aongei na MCAs, na MCAs anawatiriti kama watoto wadogo.
Kawira's motorcade was also attacked when she was gaining access to the county assembly and while also exiting. Inside the county assembly chambers, Speaker Ayub Bundi was forced to cancel the proceedings, citing lack of a quorum. The county boss then proceeded to point fingers at the MCAs, accusing them of demanding for bribes so as to vent the county's cabinet secretaries.
Mawaziri ni wa kaunti ya Meru na watafanyia Meru kazi. Kwa hivyo kama ilikuwa ni mazoea ama ni mazoea sijui, kwangu I'm not ready to part with any amount of money for you to do what you are supposed to do.
The showdown comes at a time when the new Meru County Executive Committee members are set to be vetted so that they can officially begin their duties. Stanley Nyeringita, TV47, Nairobi.
The drought situation in the country continues to worsen as residents in affected areas remain in desperate need of aid. Murang'a County now adds to the growing list of the affected areas, as Collins Lusweti now tells us.
Murang'a County is now the latest county to declare its dire drought situation that is putting residents of the affected areas including Ithanga, Kambiti and Makuyu in desperate need of food. The meteorological department in the area is now calling on farmers to seek advice from experts on the best crops to plant during the expected short rainy season. The affected regions in the county are expected to receive rainfall below average.
Hizo area naweza sema kwa sababu hata maji ya kunyunyizia haitakuwako. Kwa hivyo ningeuliza hao wakulima huko, ikiwezekana wasipande hivi vitu ya mahindi ikiwa hana ng'ombe, ili wasihi waweze kupanda hiyo mimea ingine. Tumeongea hata mambo ya maharagwe huwa inachukua miezi miwili na wanaweza uza hiyo maharagwe wananunua mahindi.
In the nearby Embu County, the Anglican Church now wants the government to come up with a strategy that will ensure a permanent solution to the drought crisis in Mbeere that has resulted to many going hungry on a daily basis.
Na kweli kila mchungaji amechangia kusema kuna ukosefu wa chakula. Hata mahali kule tulikuwa tunafikiria chakula iko ikawa ni chache, na ile chache iko wanagawia wengine, na kweli tukakubaliana kuna changamoto kubwa ya ukosefu wa chakula hapa Mbeere North, Mbeere South na hata Mwea.
Also in Kilifi County, members of County Assembly now want the area governor Gideon Mungaro to up his game in addressing the drought crisis that has continued to ravage the county with many starving. Kilifi remains among the counties highly affected by the drought, with Ganze, Magarini, a section of Malindi and Kaloleni being the most affected areas respectively.
Kuna serikali hapa county ambayo imenyamaza, hatujui wanafanya nini wala wanapanga nini. Kule wamama na watoto wanaumia.
In an effort to rescue the hunger situation, the government has today released 80 military trucks of relief food to the affected parts of the country. Speaking to the press earlier today, the Principal Secretary for Social Protection, Nelson Marwa, indicated the government was determined to ensure no Kenyan dies of hunger, calling on governors and county commissioners to give priority to schools when distributing the relief food.
Tumeongea na magovernors husika, tusipeleke chakula kwa store. Chakula kikifika, governor receive akishirikiana na county commissioner, chakula kifikia wananchi. Na napenda kuomba county commissioners, manake ni wenzangu, they are my colleagues. Tafadhali, let's walk an extra mile for the sake of this country.
Collins Lusweti, TV47.
Back to the day 3 of the cabinet nominees vetting, and the Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Masika Wetangula, has stressed that cabinet secretary nominees will remain with no designated roles until they have been approved to serve by the parliament. Now, this comes after an observation was made that some nominees have been accompanying President Ruto to state functions, while others have started even to visit their respective ministries that they could soon lead if confirmed in what they call familiarization tours.
Even as the vetting for President William Ruto's cabinet nominees continues, some have seemingly hit the ground running, attending official functions under the ministries they could soon lead if confirmed by
with them, and then they end up reporting to the offices and taking pictures there and being taken around. It's not only him, there are many of them. Chair, this process ends on the plenary of the House. Until you put the question on the floor of the House and the question is passed, they remain nominees. They are not as they have no duty in those ministries.
Junet saying that it was unconstitutional to do that before the vetting panel gives its final verdict on their suitability to serve. Today, Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary nominee, hosted Singapore High Commissioner to Kenya Yatim bin Yusuf and other commissioners even before his approval. The cabinet nominee for the position of the Attorney General Justin Muturi toured the state law offices in what his communication team termed as a familiarization tour, where he interacted with the staff on the challenges faced by the office and how service delivery can be improved. Garissa Township Member of Parliament Aden Duale, nominated to head the defense docket, had also accompanied President William Ruto during an official military event in an inauguration of the Moran Center and official opening of the Formation Commanders Conference. Also today, Moses Kuria, appointed as the Cabinet Secretary for Trade, Investment and Industry, was among those reprimanded by Junet Mohammed as he attended a Kenya Association of Manufacturers meeting graced by President Ruto. The Lands, Housing and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary appointee Zakaria Njero, appearing for vetting today, was also slammed for paying a visit to a manual workspace at the river on Wednesday.
All nominees coming before this committee remain as such nominees, subject to the report of this committee, presentation to the plenary of the National Assembly, and a vote taken on each and every one of them.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, who is the chair of the Appointments Committee, has warned the nominees against paying courtesy visits to the ministries until they have been vetted and confirmed by the Parliament. Paul Munio, TV 47, Nairobi.
All right, staying with the vetting of the cabinet nominees, and 5 other cabinet nominees were Wednesday put to task to explain the sources of their wealth as required by the law, with the candidates putting their best feet forward to secure the job. Besides their past life, one other memorable aspect of the third day of vetting was the net value or the net worth that each of the President Ruto cabinet nominees quoted. Andren Kilemi with the quotes.
First on the chopping board was Roads, Transport and Public Works Ministry Cabinet nominee Kipchumba Murkomen, who placed his net worth at 550 million Kenya shillings. Murkomen said the 550 million was a cumulative worth from property and businesses including houses, parcels of land and machinery.
Made up of major limbs, as Speaker, properties, my house in Nairobi, another one in Eldoret, and land in Trans Nzoia, 3 parcels of land in Trans Nzoia, a parcel of land in Narok, and a parcel of land in Kajiado, and another parcel in Nairobi, apart from where I live.
In what threw the vetting committee into laughter and seemingly appeared as drumming up support for the Kenya Kwanza government, the current Elgeyo Marakwet senator, who, if approved by Parliament, will take up the Transport and Public Works Ministry, added that he is a wheelbarrow owner.
I own a wheelbarrow, so to speak.
And a motorbike.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't own a motorbike. Maybe because of the sector now, I should own one.
Should Murkomen take up office as Cabinet Secretary for Roads, Transport and Public Works, Elgeyo Marakwet citizens will have to go back to the ballot.
Invite the members to...
Environment and Forestry CS nominee Soipan Tuya, who described herself as a product of opportunity, placed her net worth at 156 million shillings.
I have 3 homes, one in Nairobi, one in Narok town, and another one in my village. Motor vehicles. I have apartments in Narok and also one in Nairobi. Plots of land, 2 in Kitengela, and also dairy business, and my shares from the Parliamentary Cooperative Society, PACOSA.
Cabinet Secretary for Lands nominee Zakaria Njero, who is said to have broken the jinx of Nakuru County missing out on ministerial appointments since 1966, placed his net worth at 80 million shillings, a figure that was low among all the 5 cabinet nominees vetted Wednesday. Last to face the 15-member committee led by National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula was Cabinet Secretary nominee for Health Susan Wafula, who revealed her net worth to be at 101 million shillings.
I have an apartment in Syokimau. I have some land in Kangundo. I have some land in Trans Nzoia County. I have land in Bungoma County. I have land in Kakamega County. I have shares and deposits in SACCOs, 2 SACCOs, Waumini SACCO and UN Women SACCO. I have dividends from where I have placed my shares, one of them, Cooperative Bank of Kenya.
So far, 15 cabinet nominees have been vetted, with the exercise expected to resume Friday to pave way for Mashujaa Day celebrations tomorrow. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
Elsewhere, the Ministry of Health has confirmed a cholera outbreak in 6 counties following a wedding festival held in Embu County at the weekend. Out of the 61 cases, 13 are currently hospitalized, 8 have been discharged, while 40 were treated as outpatients. Moving on, and Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi has ordered that a comprehensive audit into the huge pending bills owed by the county government, estimated to be about 5.5 billion shillings. Speaking while receiving the report from the Assumption of Office Committee, Abdullahi insisted that his government will only pay genuine bills. The governor also warned county officials to be vigilant when utilizing public resources.
Our public finances, because every pending bill recorded in there was approved by someone in government, right? I am assuming it was supported by some budgeting process. To the extent that we have huge pending bills and we have no commensurate money in our accounts, and this is why we said one of the first things we want to do is to audit all pending bills.
At 28 minutes after 9 p.m, we want to take a very short break right here on TV 47 News Tonight. We'll be having many more other stories on the other side. You want to stick around for that.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Discover a world full of opportunities, a place to build your skill and see the world in a different perspective. Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses, giving you hands-on experience to handle the world. We offer courses such as plant operator, plant mechanics, driving and trailer driving, CCTV and alarm installation, solar installation, electrical installation, motor vehicle mechanics and electronics, building construction technology, welding fabrication, roads and dam construction, hospitality courses, and many more. For you to join us, ensure you have your national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride.
Remember, my skills, my future at Sensei.
Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Usiyakubalie maumivu ya misuli kukatiza ratiba yako. Kaluma Pain Balm ni dawa ya kusugua iliyotengenezwa kutoka kwa miche maalum ili kutuliza maumivu ya misuli. Kaluma Pain Balm. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Big things zimecome in small packages. Kwa hivyo, usiwatch tu, shika inayokufaa. Bring it to life like YouTube Shorts with Safaricom. Kuwa ndani ya game, piga hiyo story. Shorter is now better na YouTube Shorts. Njia mpya ya kuenjoy music, comedy, sport, trends and more in short. Dandia trend. Imba ngoma yako.
Shorter is better when you are go-getter and you look too cool. You don't need no sweater. Bambika na shorts kila siku. Check stories za kila kitu. Shika 1 GB na 10 ball. Dial *544#.
Now you can watch and create YouTube Shorts videos on Kenya's fastest and most reliable network.
TV47, the home of untold stories.
All right, welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with TV47 News tonight. As the Ebola virus continues to spread in the neighboring country of Uganda, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers has now raised concerns over Kenya's lack of preparedness to manage and prevent the likely outbreak of the virus. And as Elizabeth Atieno now tells us, the clinical officers have decried a lack of enough sensitization, training, and prevention control measures among healthcare workers and the community.
On Thursday, the 29th of September this year, a suspected case of Ebola virus was reported in Kakamega County. Fortunately, the Ministry of Health confirmed that the sample taken turned negative. Since then, over 20 counties were flagged as high risk by the Ministry of Health. They include Nairobi, Mombasa, Kiambu, Machakos, Kajiado, Nakuru, Makueni, Taita Taveta, Kwale, Bungoma, Siaya, Migori, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, Turkana and Uasin Gishu.
All health workers, especially those in the high-risk counties, to be provided with the requisite protective gears so that they can be able to protect themselves if any case arises.
The Ministry of Health advised the high-risk counties to enhance surveillance at the border points, screen the risk population and sensitize healthcare workers and the community in general on infection, prevention and control measures.
Well, the phase we are in is prevention from importation, because we don't have Ebola in Kenya as of now. But we are vulnerable owing to the fact that we interact with the country where that disease now, we are having an outbreak.
The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, which surveyed 10 of the high-risk counties, has decried lack of proposed interventions and a delay in instituting necessary measures, which they say is making Kenya very vulnerable, further risking their healthcare workers.
So when it comes to prevention of importation, how can that disease come into the country? It can either come through the borders, the borders that are manned, or through the porous borders. But how will you be able to identify if this person is already in the active phase of the disease, when you can be able to pick the signs and symptoms, and which is usually after 21 days of an incubation period, when you cannot actually be able to pick the disease, even if they're infected, then if they're in the active phase, you'll pick them at the border points as they enter. But if they're in the incubation period, the fevers that we are looking for and the other symptoms we are looking for, they will not show you. So how then are you going to be able to identify this person once they have crossed into the country?
The neighboring country of Uganda, which is worst hit by the Ebola epidemic, has so far reported 41 confirmed cases and 19 deaths, with healthcare workers accounting for 4 of the confirmed deaths.
And 14 people have recovered. More than 660 contacts are currently under active follow-up. Our primary focus now is to support the government of Uganda to rapidly control and contain this outbreak.
Uganda President Yoweri Museveni on Saturday imposed a 21-day lockdown on 2 Ebola-hit districts of Mubende and Kasanda in a bid to control the spread of the disease currently circulating in the country, with a recent case being reported in Kampala last week.
And that is where we are saying there are 2 ways. One is you educate these people and the community so that they can be able to identify among themselves, and then you provide a protocol on how they go about reaching the health interventions so that they don't use matatus and infect even more people.
Community is unaware of any toll-free contact number to contact in case of suspicious symptoms and where to present themselves in case of those symptoms.
Currently, there are 2 licensed vaccines for Ebola that work against the Zaire strain, but not against the Sudan strain. However, there are 6 vaccines being developed for the Sudan strain, including 3 that have progressed to phase 1 clinical trials.
The vaccines used successfully to curb recent Ebola outbreaks in the Democratic Republic of the Congo are not effective against the type of Ebola virus that's responsible for this outbreak in Uganda. However, several vaccines are in various stages of development against this virus, 2 of which could begin clinical trials in Uganda in the coming weeks, pending regulatory and ethics approvals from the Ugandan government.
Ebola is a deadly virus with symptoms like fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, vomiting, diarrhea, and in some cases both internal and external bleeding. Ebola spreads between humans by direct contact with bodily fluids and contaminated environments. Funerals can be a particular risk if mourners have direct contact with the body. Ebola first appeared in 1976 in 2 simultaneous outbreaks in southern Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, where it occurred in a village near the Ebola River, after which the disease is named. The Zaire strain was responsible for the largest ever outbreak of Ebola in West Africa from December 2013 to 2016, when more than 11,000 people died. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
5 families from Mombasa County are calling on the government to assist in bringing their loved ones home from Saudi Arabia. 2 families out of the 5 have lost their girls in the country, while 3 others have girls who are being mistreated and their rights violated. Here is Zainab Mohammed with more.
According to the families, the girls who are still alive are being mistreated, with their job locations changing every single day.
Kaniambia dada, mimi nimepelekwa mahali fulani, sina simu, nilichapwa nikapokonywa simu. Hata hii simu yenye natumia ni ya bosi wangu, lakini naumwa. Hapa nilipo pia mwili umefura, sijui shida ni nini. Nimepelekwa hospitali, mambo tu ni ulcers.
Fika mwezi wa 8, tajiri wake akamfukuza kwa nyumba na usiku, ambapo alipomfukuza kwa nyumba na usiku aliweza kutoka na akapata, tuseme alipata tu watu ambao walimhunia.
The agents who took the girls to Saudi Arabia have sworn not to bring them back until their agency fee is paid and the parents cater for their flight tickets.
Kama familia tumetaka kumleta Mejumaa nyumbani, lakini sasa agent yake imesema kwamba wakimpeleka Mejumaa kule kulikuwa na gharama ambazo wenyewe alisimamia wakalipa, na ambazo Mejumaa kika kule mpaka maize contract yake ndo atakuwa zile pesa zote atakuwa amezirudisha.
The situation is not good. My sister is sick. Mom also has pressure. The family, the children of my sister are also pressing us. So all in all, what we want is for her just to come back. That's all we want.
Haki Africa has called on the government to set up safe houses for Kenyan workers working in the Middle East so as to provide them with a way out should the initial agreements be breached.
Swala la brokers katika masuala ya agents lipo, ni lazima wa regulate, serikali regulate, kwa sababu wengi ambao wanapelekwa kwenda nchi ya Saudia wanatumia brokers.
The Human Rights Organization has also called on the government to take action against agencies that are taking advantage of poor families by forcing them to pay hefty fees before returning their loved ones home.
Kafala system ndio imeleta shida kubwa sana. Sisi tunasema kama shirika la Haki Afrika, kwamba system ya kafala itolewe. Ikiwa Mkenya amesafiri kwenda nchi ya Saudia, documents zake zibaki na serikali ya Kenya ama embassy ya Kenya, kwa sababu ikiwa hawajaelewana na tajiri wake watarudi kwa embassy waangalie njia ya kutatua shida hile.
The issue of Kenyan workers facing human rights violation in the Middle East has remained a thorny issue with no tangible solution being proposed yet. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Moving on, business and transport activities have been paralyzed in Mbeere North, Meru County after the bridge connecting Mumenji and Siaya areas collapsed last night. It is reported that the bridge collapsed when a lorry ferrying sand from Kirie to Siaya was crossing. However, the driver did not sustain any injuries. Leaders and residents in the area are now calling on the national government to expedite the repair of the bridge so that they can go back to their normal activities.
Watoto yetu yanachoma ng'ambo hii na mametoka ng'ambo hii. Kwa hivyo serikali kujeni hata walimu hawabuki pande hii wakaenda pande hii. Kwa hivyo hata biashara inakwama. Twaomba serikali mkunja mtusaidie, watu wetu wako tabuni. Nyanya, melon, na tuko na shinda sana kuanzia jana usiku. Juwezi usa. Katika Mbeere North hakuna ile parapara inatumika sana kuliko hii daraja imekuwa
Moving on, President William Ruto has promised that his government will create conducive environment for the manufacturing sector to flourish. The head of state was speaking during the Kenya Manufacturing 20 by 30 initiative high-level meeting which was held in Nairobi. Ruto added that the government will invest in value addition and agro-processing that has the potential of creating jobs for the millions of youth.
President William Ruto on Wednesday graced the Kenya Manufacturing 20 by 30 initiative in Nairobi, where he met key players in the manufacturing sector.
Governor, how are you? Good morning.
Challenging the manufacturing sector to be a champion of job creation in Kenya.
There is absolutely no reason why today we should not be a champion in the whole leather products space, because we are slaughtering 3 million livestock every year. We have the third largest herd in this continent. Yet, we are importing 110 billion worth of leather products into Kenya. It completely doesn't make sense.
During the event, the head of state lamented that Kenya loses revenue in the manufacturing industry because of the use of fake stamps on products whose sales should contribute to the country's GDP, since many people pocket money meant for taxes.
As I said earlier, we must have a different conversation. We're having a conversation here about, you see, we have a problem with VAT refund. How does VAT refund stop us from adding value to the housing schemes that are going to waste? Muniambie. You know? So, and I'm not saying that there are no challenges. There are challenges. But there are bigger opportunities than challenges in our space in Kenya.
As a country, we cannot do the same thing and expect a different result, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, agriculture is great, and I'm glad I had my friend from Unga Group saying he's producing for us each agunia. But your CS nominee for Treasury will tell you that in as much as you're getting 24% contribution to GDP, the contribution to national revenue is less than 3%.
Ruto stated that if the job creation targets are achieved, there will be no exceptions for anyone to pay taxes. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja and CS Trade nominee Moses Kuria were among key officials who accompanied the head of state in the meeting.
The innovation in Nairobi is amazing. This is the Silicon Savannah. But we just need to provide that framework where we just de-risk these startups. That if somebody's investment at whatever first series or whatever point, if something happens, then they can recoup 30%, 20%, and that is how we'll address the issue of...
Players in the manufacturing sector promised to work with Kenya Kwanza's government to ensure they deliver the best in creating more job opportunities.
Moving on, the National Assembly's Committee on Appointments today faced new and little-known cabinet nominees for vetting on their suitability to hold key ministries in the Kenya Kwanza government. However, despite presenting documentations and presentations on their capabilities, some were put to task to explain how they will better their ministries if approved by Parliament. And as Elizabeth Butuku now tells us, some nominees failed to give satisfactory answers to the questions thrown to them by the committee, raising more queries on the formula used to appoint them in office.
One after another, the Cabinet Secretary's nominees took the hot seat to face the National Assembly's Committee on Appointments. But even as some nominees were common faces, having worked as officers in different careers spanning years, others were not so known figures.
I, Penina Malonza, hereby swear to testify on all matters in question. I tell this committee the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Around 2:30 p.m., the nominee for...
Being informed that we have to also apologize for that particular story. We'll be bringing it to you as and when we correct the audio there. Let us take a short break. We'll be back with more.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Cervical cancer is most common among women above 30 years and attacks the cells of the cervix. But what exactly causes it?
Huyo daktari nikiingia nikamwelezea vile naendelea na hiyo period vile imenisugua, sababu mimi nilikuwa nafikiria ni period. Sababu hii ugonjwa yangu ilikuwa cervical cancer.
Usually for the HPV, the human papilloma virus, we have over 200, but about 14 of them are able to cause the cancer.
How is it treated? What lifestyle changes do you adopt after a diagnosis?
What we encourage is a balanced diet.
Tune in to Body Garage this Thursday at 8 p.m.
Want to know the meaning of a soft life? It's living with ease and accessing quality lifestyle while taking a swim. It's taking care of your body in a 5-star gym while you achieve your fitness goals. It's living in a serene and quiet neighborhood. It's about staying in a place with spacious driveways and ample parking. It's about living in a safe and secure environment. It's about convenient shopping. Soft life is living comfortable in affordable and yet an elegant space. It's everything stylish. Here's to introducing Great Rift Apartments, located at the heart of Nakuru City in Kisulisuli Estate, just a few minutes from the Central Business District. Great Rift Apartments, the hub of soft living.
Tunawajua kwa majukumu yao. Wanapotumikia wananchi katika afisi zao tunawafahamu. Wanapoingia katika majengo haya kutunga sheria tunaelewa. Lakini je, tunafahamu walikotoka na safari yao ya maisha? Katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi tunakupa nafasi kutangamana nao kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea, nami Elizabeth Butuku.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. The Nandi community has called for the return of Koitalel Samoei's head and his leadership artifacts believed to be kept in a London museum in Britain. Through their leaders, they said it will not be meaningful to hold a memorial celebration without concrete steps to compensate the Talai and Nandi people at large who suffered brutal suppression from the British government. The leaders further asked the Kenyan government to move with speed and resettle the Nandi residents whose fathers were forcefully removed from their land to pave way for European settlement.
Shujaa wetu Koitalel Samoei na wale mashujaa waliuawa kwa njia ya kikatili na mkoloni. Mimi mwenyewe, wazazi wangu na sisi ambaye tulikuwa pale kwa Maumau, tunaelewa uchungu wenu na yale mnayosikia na yale mliwapitia. Kuja kusherekea huyu shujaa wetu nikiwa mimi pia ni mtoto wa wale ambaye walipigania uhuru pale Mlima Kenya miaka iliyopita. Mashamba ilichukuliwa na wakoloni. Waleo watoto wa wale mashujaa waliouawa wakipita wanaona hayo mashamba, wanaiangalia tu wakipita. Pale kwetu Mlima Kenya, nyinyi hata mko na bahati, mashamba yenu iko na wazungu. Yetu ilichukuliwa na wazungu weusi.
Ile kitu tunaomba siku ya leo katika serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, chini yako Deputy President na William Samoei Ruto akiwa President, tunataka pia serikali isaidie jamii ya Talai na community ya Nandi kufuatia haki yao kule Uingereza kama vile Maumau walisaidiwa. Sisi tunahitaji the same support, Your Excellency. Pia mambo ya mashamba.
To the world of sports now, where Siaya club officials have called on well-wishers and local leaders to come to their aid due to the lack of enough funds, which they have said may force the club to pull out of the ongoing National Boxing League. Speaking during their opening air training at the Ndere Trading Center, head coach Joseph Otieno noted that they were forced to send few pugists to represent the club in the tournaments, which claims that the chances of clinching the national title. Ochieng further noted that apart from the financial challenges, the upcoming boxers do not have proper training facilities, as he urged the county government to provide boxing equipment in order to support the sport in the country.
Wale wako kwa county tusaidie, kwa sababu tukitoka nje tunacheza tukibeba jina ya county na team haina pesa ya kwenda kwa league. Tunaomba tuwe na holi ambapo tutaweza funga bagi yetu na kesho yake pia tuipate ikiwa kwa hali nzuri. Sasa naomba usaidizi pia kwa upande wa equipment, gloves, headgears, vitu kama hizi hatuna hata bandage, ring boots pia tunakosa. Tuna vijana hapo wana talent mzuri sana ya kucheza boxing, lakini msipotusaidia hakuna mahali watafika.
Kenya Handball Federation earlier today received a boost of 1.5 million Kenya shillings from the National Olympic Committee ahead of the Handball Zone 5 International Handball Federation Trophy Championship. The tournament, which is slated to take place on the 24th to the 30th of October this year at the Nyayo Stadium and Ulinzi Sports Complex, has attracted a total of 20 teams from 10 countries, with the winners of each category booking a slot to play at the continental level and eventually participate in the World Championship. Speaking during the handing over of the 1.5 million check at the NOC Kenya headquarters right here in Parklands, Kenya Handball Federation Technical Director Charles Omondi reiterated the importance of this event, focusing more on the development of the young players and not competition, as NOC Kenya Secretary General Francis Mutuku urged more federations to bid for them to host such competitions, affirming that they will support them whenever funds are available.
The Handball Federation has taken stringent measures to make sure that this competition is meant to develop and not to bring older players to participate. And you see, this is what me, being a member of the Youth Commission, would never like to see a youth being denied a chance that we take an older player to participate in such a tournament.
There have been almost 360 solution in that they'll be having a competition for the youth, while at it they'll be having a coaches training program.